California has no idea what's going to hit it, and Alex Eala is on her way to Indian Wells. This tournament is witnessing the largest ever mobilization of the Filipino community. Sections are being reserved in groups, tickets are selling out, and the tournament directors are apparently in awe of what they are seeing. The fifth Grand Slam is about to undergo a radical transformation. Do you believe Alex Eala will get it to Indian Wells semifinals this year? Do you think the Filipino audience in California will be the loudest supporters the tournament has ever had? Post your prediction in the comments section right now. Let's discuss what is truly going on in California at the moment, because its scope warrants a thorough understanding rather than being summed up in a single social media post. The BNP Paribas Open main draw at Indian Wells features Alex Eala. Not by qualifying, not by using a wild card, and not by placing 31st in the world. She rose from 137 to 31 in only a year, earning a rating that forced the tennis community to take notice. She defeated Jasmine Paolini in the Miami Open semifinals and the Dubai quarterfinals, when she was ranked 8th in the world with a score of 6,176. Gold at the Southeast Asian Games, the Australian Open main draw debut, the Auckland semifinals, and the Abu Dhabi quarterfinals. She had to earn her place at Indian Wells the hard way, which is the only way it truly matters. Additionally, since her admission was confirmed, the tournament organizers have been keeping an eye on the ticket sales and hospitality reservations. And they seem to be truly horrified by what they are witnessing. The greatest Filipino diaspora in the U.S. is found in California. This state is home to a sizable, well-organized, sports-loving Filipino-American population that has been waiting for this very time. A player who competes at the top levels of international tennis in their own country while representing the Philippines, in addition to participating, winning, setting records, and being referred to as the sport's biggest draw by previous top 10 professionals, she also had her photo displayed at Nike World Headquarters in Oregon with the statement, "History in full bloom." The Filipino community in California has responded in a way that the Indian Wells Tennis Garden has never experienced before because to the combination of athletic achievement and cultural importance. Fan clubs in Daly City, San Diego, and Los Angeles are setting up group reservations. Community organizations have reserved entire sections of the stadium in an attempt to generate the same wall of sound that transformed Dubai into a Filipino celebration and featured Coco Gauff thanking the audience following her triumph over Eala in the quarterfinals. Prices for tickets on the secondary market during the sessions when IA is anticipated to perform have already increased noticeably over face value. According to reports, some seats are now twice as expensive as they were initially. The tournament's commercial side is totally unprepared for a player rated 30th in the world creating this amount of market demand, which is the economic reality of the Eala effect making its way to American soil. For background, Indian Wells has acquired the moniker Fifth Grand Slam. In 2026, there will be more than $9 million in prizes. Every well-known player in women's tennis is on the pitch. Aryna Sabalenka is a multiple Grand Slam champion and the top player in the world. The defending champion, Mira Andreeva, and Iga Swiatek, Coco Gauff and Jessica Pegula. The list of applicants resembles a who's who of the current top athletes. At a tournament of this caliber, these athletes have spent years developing the reputations and outcomes that demand high ticket prices and prime court assignments. Alex Eala, ranked 31st in the world, is in the center of that list and is attracting more ticket interest from a single demographic than the well-known players on paper are from the tennis population as a whole. Such a comment is not insignificant. That completely defies the standard business logic of professional tennis. And it is taking place in real time right now. Beaverton, Oregon was the first stop on the way to this point. Eala made a stop at the Nike World Headquarters prior to traveling to California, and the response she got there set the tone for everything that will happen at Indian Wells. Her pictures were already on display with the greatest athletes the company has ever sponsored in the well-known Nike Tunnel. Her famous face after making it to the Miami semifinals was captured in one portrait. Her face with both hands. Tears are the unfiltered feelings of someone who has just done something that goes above and beyond what they had anticipated. Nike doesn't caption things carelessly. Thus the caption, "History in full bloom," was picked with purpose. An image of Eala taking a selfie with Filipino supporters was also shown in the tunnel, which demonstrates Nike's understanding of the reasons behind this collaboration. They are investing in the community that supports the athlete wherever she goes, not just in the athlete herself. The placement of that fan photo on the wall at the global headquarters conveys the idea that the EA narrative transcends individual athletic success. With a global fan base, it is a cultural movement that changes the business realities of every competition she competes in. The Oregon visit was planned with purpose. Yaya came to the United States early in order to have more time to get ready for the conditions at Indian Wells. The playing environment created by the California desert is really unique. The air is dry. Ball flight is influenced by altitude. Compared to what she experienced earlier in the year during the Middle East and Oceania swings, the courts played differently. Arriving in the U.S. before the majority of players from Europe have arrived, adjusting to the time zone, and being acquainted with the surface conditions. At a tournament where every player in the draw is performing at an elite level, these are the margins that count. She received 7 years of training at the Rafa Nadal Academy, which was based on a rigorous work ethic and careful preparation. Her approach to each campaign reflects this foundation. She doesn't just show up the day before and cross their fingers. She makes arrangements in advance. She gets ready for particular circumstances. And that kind of deliberate preparation is exemplified by the early arrival in the United States and the visit to Nike headquarters. It is impossible to overestimate how important it is for her long-term growth to attend Indian Wells with a top 30 ranking as opposed to qualifying. Players that make it through qualifying have previously participated in a number of intense games before entering the main draw. They're bearing weariness. The direct entrance players' conserved emotional and physical energy has already been expended by them. Eala achieved an incredible feat last year in Miami by qualifying and making it to the semifinals. She did, however, play more games overall and under greater cumulative pressure than any of the players she faced and beat during that time. She is new to Indian Wells this year. She shows up rested. After 2 weeks of recuperation from Dubai, she arrives. She also arrives after visiting the Nike headquarters, which gave her a psychological boost that practice court time cannot match. You can learn more about yourself than you could from training alone when you see your picture on the wall of the world's most well-known sports brand headquarters next to athletes whose names embody what it means to be great. The opposition is strong. Some of the most accomplished players in women's tennis history are represented among the top seeds at Indian Wells. For a number of years, Sabalenka has been one of the most powerful players in women's tennis. Swiatek is still one of the most complete players on the tour and has held the top spot for long stretches of time. This event, Andrea is the reigning champion. On their best day, any of them can defeat any competitor in the field. However, whether she can defeat the world number 1 in straight sets in her debut match is hardly the main topic of discussion at Indian Wells. It tells the story of what transpires over the course of 2 weeks when a player enters a tournament and begins to advance through rounds using her profile, form, fan base, and psychological momentum. In the future, the players who defeat her at these competitions will have to do it in front of thousands of Filipino spectators, raising the level of clamor the tournament has never seen during its regular draw rounds. The player whose fans are creating the noise benefits from this genuinely altered competition atmosphere. At every tournament thus far in 2026, Sam Querrey, Steve Johnson, and their discussion about Eala's drawing power being greater than Joel Fence's on the men's side last year have been validated. Auckland's crowds were impressive. They set records in Melbourne. The mood in Abu Dhabi was electrifying. Goff herself spoke to the stands in Dubai, thanking the Filipino supporters for coming and for changing the tournament's atmosphere. California operates on a whole other scale. Here, the Filipino community is more than just a handful of eager tourists that took a unique journey. Since Eala's performance in Miami last year demonstrated that she was truly capable of playing with and defeating the world's top players, there has been a long-standing, sizable organized diaspora that has been anticipating this precise moment with growing fervor. The tournament organizers, who are apparently shocked by the rush in tickets, are not coping with a brief boost in interest that will return to normal after the draw is made public. They are coping with a structural shift in the demographics and motivations of their attendees. For years, tennis in the U.S. has been trying to reach populations who have not traditionally been very interested in the sport and to draw in more varied audiences. Without a marketing campaign, a planned outreach strategy, or anything other than winning matches and projecting the kind of dignity and competitiveness that inspires others to identify with her narrative, Alex Eala, achieved that in a single season. Thousands of Filipino fans traveling to the California desert will have an impact on every commercial touchpoint of the tournament, including food vendors, merchandise operations, hospitality suites, parking, and tennis events. The rising ticket prices on the secondary market represent real dollars flowing into the Indian Wells ecosystem from a demographic that was not previously producing that kind of economic activity. Additionally, she won't be by herself when I enter the court for her opening match of the competition. Behind her, there will be a wall of red, blue, and white. This competition, she will hear her name in a way that the majority of players at her ranking have never heard. Every opponent will feel like they are the away team when she plays in this environment. According to Kim Clears, Ella must cope with living in the Philippines like Michael Jordan. She is going to experience what it's like to have that same energy brought to American land in California. The Filipino diaspora here is prepared to offer her all and more that her admirers in Dubai gave her. On March 4th, Indian Wells opens. In essence, the countdown has ended. The fans have reservations. The areas are set aside. The neighborhood is structured. With a career-high rating that places her in the top tier of the draw and Nike's complete confidence on display, Alex Eala, a recent graduate from Oregon, is set to walk onto those purple courts and experience something that the tournament's history just cannot match. Every player in the draw who must compete against Eala in front of that crowd will comprehend exactly what Coco Golf knew in Dubai, as the fifth Grand Slam is going to experience a completely different kind of excitement. Being hostile to her is one thing. It is entirely different to play against her and the Filipino community as a whole. With Nike supporting her and a whole Filipino community in California eager to transform that desert stadium into something this tournament has never seen, Alex Eala is traveling to Indian Wells with her best ever ranking. There will soon be the most exciting atmosphere for the fifth Grand